Also tomorrow, President Trump's pick for Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch going to be on Capitol Hill for what is believed to be an intense week of confirmation hearings. The Colorado appellate judge was tapped to replace the late conservative judge, Antonin Scalia, of course. His confirmation would be a big win for the White House after this catalog of frustrations and setbacks since President Trump has taken office. CNN legal analyst and former federal prosecutor Laura Coates joining us now. Laura, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Let's talk about the state of the court right now, currently sitting 4-4 in terms of the political breakdown between Democrats and Republicans. When we look at the seat for Scalia and the dynamics that Gorsuch would bring, would he be a true replacement for the Scalia seat?
Well, he is expected to be. He is somebody who is valued and has honored Scalia's, not only his holdings in the past, but also believes in the ideology that Scalia has espoused in the past. But remember, there's not just a split partisan lines, not just Democrats or Republicans, but they have an ideological split. And frankly, replacing a conservative with another conservative is not going to change the shift of balance of power a great deal. A lot has been made about replacing Scalia for the purposes of Roe v. Wade. But remember, Roe v. Wade existed and maintained even with Scalia on the bench.
So we'll talk about some of the things that hardline conservatives take issue with when it comes to Gorsuch. And a lot of that, it's around his religious views. He was raised Catholic, attends an Episcopal church that's openly pro-gay, that's pro-Muslim. How significant do you think that's going to be?
Well, I think everyone thought it would be very significant given the fact that we were talking about one of the campaign promises that Donald Trump made was to reverse Roe v. Wade. But now we're trending towards the executive order legacy and what is presumed to be, as among some communities, a Muslim ban. The focus will now shift away from Roe v. Wade and overturning that and more towards whether or not the president will have enough deference from the courts to be able to implement policies that may infringe on religious freedoms and liberties. Now, Gorsuch is somebody who, from the beginning of his presence on the bench, has been somebody who's been a staunch advocate of religious believers and not having the courts impose their viewpoints. There was a controversial case just a few years ago, Hobby Lobby, Little Sisters, all these cases involve whether or not the government could impose and force these small businesses or businesses that had religious beliefs to actually force them to have contraceptives as part of their plan. So the issue now is he was somebody who said absolutely not, and the courts cannot be in a position, let alone the government, to impose those requirements. I think everyone's going to look at this and say, I wonder how much his religious beliefs, not the Catholicism or the Episcopalian views, but his views in the past about how the courts and Congress should deal with religion will guide his logic on the executive orders.
Okay, lastly, of course, Republicans never voted on Merrick Garland, President Obama's pick. Dems probably still feeling the sting from that. Could that sting drive what they do this week?
I think it will. I think you're going to have a lot of obstinance from the Democrats precisely because this was never a matter or a battle of legal qualifications. Merrick Garland, Neil Gorsuch both stand in their own with respect to their qualifications, and both should be steadfastly supported in terms of their qualifications. However, this is a battle of power, and the Democrats are going to have to decide at this point whether or not this is the battle to fight. Remember, there is an aging judiciary among the United States of America, and President Trump will probably have more than one opportunity to fill a Supreme Court seat. And because this seat will likely not shift the ideology of the court, Democrats may be better served waiting for the next seat.
Laura Coates, I so appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you.